is no law. This is a photocopy of a letter written by a district manager of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, dated July the 13th, 1979. This is the pertinent statement in that letter. It reads, "The Social Security Administration does not require that you have a Social Security number." Notice that the letter did not say that Congress passed House Bill number so-and-so in 1935 that required all Americans to obtain a Social Security number. If it was law, I would think that they would say exactly that. This is a copy of a January 10th, 1990 letter from a claims representative of the Health and Human Services Department of the U.S. government. And this is the sentence I wish to discuss. It says, Social Security is a voluntary system in that no one is required to get a number. That means to me that we do not have to volunteer to get a number, and that we can only get a number if we volunteer for one. But once we get a Social Security number, we're obligated to use it by contract, because we have become a naturalized citizen who has voluntarily become subject to the most oppressive government ever devised by man. So now we see that the Constitution is null and void, and that each one of us who has a Socialist Security card is a naturalized citizen of the most powerful government in the history of this world. Now let me return to the Great Seal of the United States. Let's study the hidden symbols using numbers. This is once again the eagle side of the Great Seal, and if you count the feathers on each wing, you would find 32 feathers on its left wing and 33 on its right. And I do not believe that this is a coincidence or an error by the artist. And to assist you in understanding the significance of the two numbers 32 and 33, I would like to explain a little about the Masonic Lodge. Every Mason in America has to go through 3 rituals called degrees, one at a time, and when he is finished, he is called a Master Mason, and a member of the Blue Lodge. He has then 2 options should he wish to go further. He can join the Scottish Rite, shown in green, with 29 more degrees for a total of 32, or he can join the York Rite, shown in yellow, with a total of 10 more for a total of 13. There is a 33rd degree on top of both of these Masonic lodges called the 33rd degree, and it is honorary, and the member must be invited into this degree. There seems to be evidence that this 33rd degree of Scottish Rite runs the entire worldwide Masonic Lodge, so they are extremely important. Now this is the eagle side of the Great Seal of the United States again. Notice that the eagle is looking towards the side with the 33 feathers. So the implication of this drawing is that the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite of Masonry runs the entire United States, and that this is a secret concealed inside the Great Seal of the United States. I remember in my high school civics class that there was a debate amongst this nation's founding fathers over whether the bald eagle or the American wild turkey should be the national bird of this nation. But my research shows that there was no debate at all. The eagle was always intended to be the national bird from the very beginning, and that the appearance of the debate was a ruse and a scam, another fire engine, or some other grain. In the books written by the key Masonic writers, the Lodge and others will convince the researcher that the eagle was an important symbol of something else. The following are 6 quotes on the subject, 5 of which were written by members of the Masonic Lodge. I will not cite the sources of each quote, but just show you the quotes without attribution. The eagle is a symbol of initiation. The eagle is of great antiquity, a symbol of the sun. The eagle was sacred to the sun. The eagle was a bird consecrated to the sun. The eagle represented the Egyptian sun god, Amun-Ra. And the following quote is one of the explanations as to why the eagle is sacred to sun worship. The eagle is also supposed to be the only creature that can look directly into the sun. Now this is an interesting observation. If a human looks directly into the sun, it is quite likely that this person will go blind. But in this quote, the author was saying that the eagle can look directly into the sun without being harmed. But there is a symbolic and concealed meaning behind this statement. It conceals the symbolic thought that the eagle can get directly to the sun god and that man cannot. This appears to be the concealed meaning behind the symbology of the eagle. The eagle can do something that man cannot do, and early man apparently understood that fact, so he used the eagle as a symbol of the way to reach the sun god. But few Americans, if any, know what all of the symbols on the Great Seal mean. As I have briefly mentioned, the numbers 32 and 33 are significant to the Masonic Lodge, but the numbers show up in some rather interesting concealed locations. This is the symbol of the government of the Communist Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, meaning the old Russia. As you can see, it is a globe with what appear to be wheat stalks on either side. But the semicircle to the bottom appears to be out of place and without a logical explanation, especially when you count the rays protruding from the center, because there are 32 of them. The semicircle, which when completed would be a full circle, meaning that it could be a symbol of the sun, which when added to the 32 rays would total 33. One can only imagine what this Masonic symbol has to do with the Communist Soviet Union. The number appears once again in this, the symbol of the United Nations. First of all, the leaves on each side total 13. Do not count the base, and as shall be discussed later, the number 13 is a significant Masonic number. The globe is divided into 32 divisions, with the circle at the top. It is not complete, presumably because it would intersect with portions of the globe. Another explanation might be that the future world government has not brought the United States and Canada into the circle as of yet, because the circle, if completed, would be over the northern part of North America. And the circle plus the 32 divisions total 33 in the symbol. Once again, the Masonic numbers 32 and 33 are concealed in the symbol of the United Nations. While I am here, I would like to briefly discuss the connection between the numbers 13 and 33. We in America use a system of inches and feet as a measuring system, and a system known as the metric system uses millimeters and centimeters. If you compare a ruler of 13 inches in length side by side with a ruler of 33 millimeters in length, you will notice that the two rulers are the same length. And that is because the metric system was created by the Masons who caused the French Revolution of 1789. So this is one way you can say that 13 is equal to 33, a Masonic way of saying that Satan's number is equal to the number of the 33rd degree Masons who run the entire Masonic system. I would like to show you another concealed connection between the numbers 13 and 33. It is concealed inside the Masonic Lodge. As I said, the Masons have 3 degrees in what they call the Blue Lodge. The first degree Mason is called an entered apprentice, the second is called a fellowcraft, and the third is called a master Mason. The concealed connection is inside the 2 words Master Mason. First of all, the letter M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, and I do not believe that this is another coincidence. Now, if you separate the 2 M's from the 2 words and set them in the next 2 lines like this, and then turn the 2 words sideways, you can see that each M looks like the number 3, and the 2 of them together make them look like the number 33. So there is a concealed 13 and 33 in their choice of the words that describe their 3rd degree inside the Blue Lodge. There is a similar example of a concealed 33 contained in the name of Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney's first cartoon character. Mr. Disney and his brother Roy were members of the Masonic Lodge, and I believe Walt Disney named his initial cartoon character Mickey Mouse because he knew that this name concealed the number 33 in it. The same thing happens when you print the name Mickey Mouse and separate the 2 M letters, and then turn the name and the 2 letters sideways, and you get a concealed 33 in them as well. And notice this, there are 6 letters in the word Master and 6 letters in the word Mickey. There are 5 letters in Mason, and there are 5 letters in Mouse. Just another strange coincidence, I am sure. The Masons have been getting a lot of bad press recently, and the Masons are anxious to overcome that with favorable publicity. This is quite likely the reason that Walt Disney released 2 movies that gave a favorable image to the Masonic Lodge. The first one was the movie entitled National Treasure, released in the year 2004. And the second one was entitled Book of Secrets, and it was released in 2007. This is a picture of the room where the Security Council of the United Nations meets. If you count the number of lights in the circle of the ceiling, you would count 32 of them. 32 plus the circle they are in would be 33. Before I explain why the numbers 32 and 33 are significant, let me show you other instances where the numbers show up. This is a drawing of a woman carrying the Olympic torch through a worldwide run to publicize the Olympics to be held a few months later. According to the Olympic Committee, the torch is 32 inches long, and the flame on top would be the 33rd object. This photograph shows how the first torch is lit. The caption underneath the photograph says, Greek actresses dressed as high priestesses go through a dress rehearsal for the lighting of the flame at Olympia. So the flame is not lit by a match, but by the rays of the sun focused through a magnifying disc. So it is the sun god who lights the first torch and is lighted on Mount Olympus, where the Greek gods allegedly reside. Now I would like to start an explanation of why these 2 numbers 32 and 33 are significant and what they symbolically represent and why that is significant in America's history. This drawing shows Quetzalcoatl, a Latin American sun god, possibly descending from heaven on a ladder with 32 rungs. If the place he is coming from is heaven, that would mean the 33rd rung on the ladder. This is an important drawing for reasons that will be discussed later. By the way, that drawing shows that a modern-day rock and roll musician was once worshipped as a god